Hello, everyone, and today I'm going to be doing another 2020 election prediction. This one just going to be between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. The other one was if Kanye is running. Things are changing. We don't know yet, but you could check that out if you want to see my prediction on what you think that would happen in that election. Doing another election prediction because now I'm going to be doing two election predictions a month as we get closer and closer to the election. Um, Things have changed since my last prediction. I would say they've gotten a little bit better for Trump. I think Trump's worst point was probably when I made my last prediction. He was doing really badly in the polls. I don't think he was running his campaign right. So, if for the Trump supporters watching, he has turned things around. And for the Biden supporters watching, Biden still definitely has a chance. And Biden's still doing pretty well in the polls. But Donald Trump has begun to start to turn things around. Okay, so here we go. We'll start with safe Democrat states. We're going to go with California, New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Delaware, Maryland, and DC. All safe, relatively safe Democrat states, and Hawaii, I forgot, giving Biden 122 electoral votes. Now for safe Republican states, usual, these three electoral vote states in the middle of the country, as well as every congressional district in Nebraska, except for the second. Um, yep, in the South, and I'll include Alaska in this. So that's 122 to 95, comparing safe states. Now, likely Democrat states will be Maine first. Uh, Biden probably win that by around 13, 15, 10 to 15 points, giving it a likely characterization, as well as Illinois, Washington, New Jersey, and Connecticut all will be likely Democrat states. And I'll include Virginia, which is definitely trending to the left. I'm not going to include New Mexico and Colorado. I think Trump could actually gain some support in those states. Gary Johnson ran last time, and he definitely took a lot of votes away from Trump in New Mexico and Colorado because he was the former governor. And definitely a lot of people, probably a lot of Republicans, saw Gary Johnson on the ballot. They knew him in New Mexico and Colorado, and they just didn't feel comfortable voting for Trump. But with Gary Johnson not running and Trump being a conservative Republican, it seems like they could go and vote for Trump, making the election a bit closer than in 2016. Now, likely Republican states would be Missouri, Indiana, and South Carolina. I know Missouri's a toss up on RCP. I don't think that's how it's going to be on election day. If you look back and you see the polls in Missouri during this time for the 2016 election, there were similar numbers, and Trump won that state by 18 to 19 points. I think Trump could carry that by a likely margin. Now, lean Democrat states will be Maine at large, New Mexico, Colorado, Oregon, and Minnesota. Maine at large, Biden will win that by 5 to 10 points, or actually maybe like 5 to 10, as well as the other states. Oregon's lean, it's trending red, but it'll stay lean. Just a state that is trending, but still has a obvious Democrat backing. Now, lean Republican states will be Iowa, Ohio, and Georgia. Georgia actually looks better for Trump than Texas does, which is really weird. Really weird to see how that flips, especially with the polls right now, but also looking at other data. Um, Georgia still remains its Republican identity. However, it is shifting to Democrats. But I think Trump could carry that by a lean margin, maybe similar to what he carried at maybe 3 or 4 points, maybe 5-ish points. Same with Iowa and Ohio. The polls are close. I think they're going to expand out. Trump's going to pick up the states by a lean margin, probably around 4 to 5 points, as well with Georgia. Now, we'll go with tilt Democrat states, and I'll switch on and off. Actually, I'll characterize Texas as lean as well. I think Trump will win that by 4 or 5 points. It'll retain its Republican identity, at least for this election. 2024, it'll be a definite toss-up, maybe even tilt blue. We'll see what happens then. But as of now, it still has a Republican identity. I think they'll get large Republican turnout, and I think Trump could take that by a lean margin. So let's go to tilt Democrat states. Oh, I keep forgetting things. I'm going to do Maine at large. Trump won that by 10 points. It could narrow up, but I think he'll still win it. Now, tilt Democrat, I can do Nevada and Arizona. Maybe Nevada could be considered lean. I'll just keep it as tilt. I think Trump could narrow up the margins. Hillary won it by around 2.4 points in 2016. Biden could expand it to 3. I would say anywhere from the 1 to 3 range with that state, as well as Arizona. It's definitely trending blue. With the recent Senate election in 2018, that was like the first time, I'm not sure, 20 years ish, that they've ever had a Democrat senator, and they're probably going to get another one in 2020. So definitely shifting blue based on all available trends. Now tilt Republican states. I'm gonna go with North Carolina. Is going to tilt Republican. In 2008, Obama barely won that state by around 1 point, and he won that election in a landslide. I think North Carolina does have a slighter, larger population of Republicans than Democrats. Same thing with Florida, except Florida's a little bit closer. North Carolina, Republicans tend to win it. Even Mitt Romney won it, and Mitt Romney lost Ohio and Iowa. I think Trump will also win Maine's 2nd congressional district, Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, giving him 220 right now. Now, tilt Democrat states for Joe Biden. I'm going to say New Hampshire will tilt Democrat. Hillary won it by 0.3. It's going to stay in that margin. It's just a close state, and that's how it is. I'm also going to go with Michigan as a tilt Democrat. I'm going to stop with these. So, Michigan, that's going to be the first one to go. Trump stopped having ads in that state. He just announced, which is not a good look. Maybe he's trying to pick up other important areas. He needs to win Arizona. That's going to be very important if he wants to win the election, and he needs to keep the southern states, North Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Texas. He needs to focus on that first before he can try and actually gain or keep back the states that gave him the election in 2016. Okay, so now this is what we're going to, so it's down to 3 states, which is really the biggest thing. So Florida, if you take a look at the polls in Florida, I could pull them up right now. Actually, I'll just, it's not looking that good for Trump. Biden is up in Florida. I'm really trying to, it's based off my predictions on how I believe there'll be election day. Biden's up by 6.2. The polls do have it narrowing up. I think Biden, actually, I'll think about that a little bit more. Latest poll has Biden only up 3. We can see how that shifts on election day. I'm going to give Pennsylvania to Biden by a tilt margin as of now. So that has Biden winning the election. Polls have gotten closer. I think Trump will campaign in there, at least in the last 2 months of the election. It's not looking that good. You could say it's a lean, but I'll keep it as tilt. And I'll have Wisconsin tilt Republican, keep its Republican identity from 2016. I think Trump does have a solid base there. It's just going to depend on turnout for Joe Biden. I think Joe Biden will definitely get more turnout in these other 2 Rust Belt states, Michigan and Pennsylvania, than in Wisconsin. And now it just comes down to Florida. I think Trump could really make that state a lot closer if he's campaigning there. He's having his convention there. If Biden's VP is Kamala Harris, he's not really going to get much of a benefit because she's not from a toss-up state, which is how it looks right now. Trump's definitely going to be campaigning there. Like I said, he has his convention there. That's a second home state, his second home in Florida. And I think he could take the state, so I'm going to give him that state. You could say it would go to Joe Biden. The polls are close. The most recent ones have Biden up 5, 4, and 3. I'm going to do this based off how I think it's going to be on the election, and I think Trump could take it on the election. So that gives the final electoral tally. Biden 279, Trump 259. So my predictions have really been bouncing back and forth since I've been making them. It just shows how crazy the country is right now with everything that's going on, as 2020 being probably one of the most chaotic years in history, or in this century at least. Probably going to be in the century, with the coronavirus pandemic, obviously race riots, so many different things. 2020 election, murder hornets. I mean, there's a whole list of things that you could talk about that's gone wrong in 2020. School closures, and so on. So this is definitely going to be a very, very interesting year. The economy, race, healthcare, health, obviously, in general, going to be very important factors. And Trump is going to really need to shine in these last few months, because he seemed to start to, at least he went against wearing masks, or he said that you don't have to wear masks. He has a new management in his campaign. It seems like they're trying to change their messaging a little bit, and I think that could definitely help him. So I definitely think Trump could win this election. Um, just looking at the polls right now, it looks like Biden's going to win the election. I mean, you could argue Biden would win Wisconsin and Florida. However, I'm going to give that to Trump because I'm going to try and base it off how it's going to be on election day. And that's what I think it's going to be as of right now. I'll characterize it all into one color so you can see what the map will look like, as I always do. Because Trump did get new management in his campaign, so it's going to be interesting to see their new messaging and how they're going to try and expand their supporters and increase their turnout. So this is going to be very interesting. And then there it is, 279 to 259. Biden wins the election as of August 1st, 2020. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more videos. Goodbye.